Let's start with multi-country studies. Multi-country studies would mean I would have several target groups with different countries, and each country would need a separate entry link. That automatically means I would need to set up several surveys as well, as each survey represents one entry link. If I, for example, want to run Switzerland and Australia, I would set up one project with one target group for Switzerland and one target group for Australia. And in addition to that, I would set up one survey link for Switzerland and one for Australia. Same goes for any other countries I want to add. I would need to add a new target group and, if needed, also another survey link. There is the slight chance that you might run a multi-country study with one link and a language selection, but I'm going by the example of having one link per country. For this, I would go in the test project, which I've already created, on the respondents page. And we can see here already, we already have Switzerland set up. I've labeled it as Switzerland German, have it already selected for 10-minute study, 500 completes, 80% incidence rate, and 5 days in field. In addition to that, I'm going to set up gender quota. I just want an equal split, as well as I'm going to set up age quotas. And also here, I'm putting a location on, and we'll take an equal split. Equal split, save, done. That would be the first country I would be running. I do just want to run a nice split over the gender and an equal distribution for age. For this, I would set up survey, and I'm going to be calling this Switzerland. I highly suggest that we always use a naming convention for each survey and for each target group we create, especially when working with several links and several target groups for different countries. This makes it way easier to know exactly what link setup is for which target group. And I have already prepared an entry link for Switzerland. Use the base link from one of our test projects in CMix, enter it, save it, having automatically PID and PSID attached, having the redirects down here, and I am also going to use test link. That one I have already prepared as well. Also here, PID, PSID already attached. Click the test button, test it really quick, just to receive the OK, and now our Switzerland link is set up. That means we can go to the respondent section, add Switzerland to our link, press the Get Estimate button again, and Switzerland would be ready to launch. Now, this is supposed to be a multi-country setup, so we would need to add another country. Let's add the UK in addition to this one. I'm simply going to press the duplicate button, as I need the exact same amount of complete, same incidence rate, same days in field, and same LOI. And take some of the basic information already over. We'll rename this to UK. Going to change the country. One thing to always take into account is if you duplicate a target group, it will take over all of the targeting attributes, including the allocations which you have set up. As soon as you're changing the country, the targeting attributes will disappear. We will see this in 1 second if we go to the UK. We can see everything disappeared. The reason for that is targeting attributes might differ from country to country. Answer options might differ from country to country. And to avoid causing any issues on the back end, it automatically clears all the targeting attributes once the target group country is being changed. In this case, it's no problem at all. I'm setting up gender again, set all, allocation, split even. And I'm going to set up age in the same way as we've done it for Switzerland as well. 18 to 34, 5 to 50, 51 to 100, split even as well, and save. Now we can see we have age, gender, exactly set up as for Switzerland. And we can also see that even though we haven't touched the settings part with 500 completes, 80%, 5 days and 10 minutes, it has kept it exactly the same. Another point to keep into account is you can probably see we've already attached our Swiss survey, which we've created with the entry link on here. Because we duplicated this target group, it automatically takes them over. The safest thing to do before you do any next steps is always click this X to take it out, just so that you not accidentally launch with the wrong link on your target group. Now we're going to the target group, surveys, and can see here we just have Switzerland set up so far. We simply click on the blue button to add a new survey, insert a link. We're going to name this one UK. Also for the UK, we have already a link prepared. Save. Again, automatically attaches the PID and the PSID. The redirects are shown here again as well. And one thing you can see straight away as well is the basic code has not changed. We have for the UK set up 28570, and for our Switzerland setup, we have 28570 as well. That basic code changes on a project level. As soon as I would create a new project, I would get a new basic code. Within one project, it doesn't matter how many surveys I set up, I will always have the same basic code. That makes it easier if you set up a country with several languages and translations within CMix, for example. The redirect setup in there with that security code would just need to be done once. And then for every other survey you set up, you simply just need to enter the different survey entry link, and anything else will be set. The one thing missing here as well is, here we got a test link as well. Set this up, in, save, it automatically attaches PID and PSID again. We test this really quick, and can see here as well, test successful, ID successful. Now we have successfully set up 2 surveys, one entry link for the UK, successfully tested it, and we have set up Switzerland and also successfully tested that one. Now we go back to the respondent section and connect the UK link, which we have just set up, onto our UK setup as well. We can still see here, Switzerland is still connected to the Swiss link. And on the UK, where we've taken out the Swiss link, we go to the drop-down menu and can now see here the UK link as well. You can straight away see here why it is important to rename your surveys as well as your target groups. This was the setup on our survey site, which is done for the UK, this one for Switzerland. Makes it easy to differentiate which one is which. In case I wouldn't have renamed them, they would have simply be called Survey 1 and Survey 2, and it would have been more difficult for me to actually know still which one was for which. And it gets even more complicated the more surveys you add. UK is added here as well. Get estimate. And now we see the launch button here as well. That means we've successfully set up one target group and one survey for the UK. And we set up one target group and one survey for Switzerland. Connected both parts, the survey to the target group, and would be ready to launch both. In the case that you do want to run several languages, for example, in Switzerland, in one country, you would need to set up one target group per language. In this case, I do want to run Switzerland, but I want German and French. And I want 250 completes from each one. I quickly reduce this one to 250 completes. Press the duplicate button. And now you can see that Switzerland German copy got updated here. I'm going to change this to French. Can now see here as well, I've set up Switzerland French, Switzerland German, and UK. I'm going back to Switzerland French target group, change the language from Swiss German to Swiss French, and we're done. I use the same entry link for Switzerland. I just want 2 different languages. And in this case, we can also see changing the language will not take away any of the targeting attributes because we are still in Switzerland and the targeting attributes are just being removed once you change the country. Press the Get Estimate button. Now I would be ready to launch my Swiss French part as well. So I've successfully set up 3 target groups for 2 survey links. I've set up 2 different languages in Switzerland, the French part and the German part, both for 250 completes with 80% IR and 5 days in field, as well as the age and gender quotas evenly spread. The French part, exactly the same, and we've successfully set up the UK. And that with 2 surveys which we have set up, one for the UK, one for Switzerland. And we can see straight away here as well, everything fits. We've set up the survey entry link and everything is okay. Survey exit links, everything is okay. And the same for the Switzerland link. In case anything would be missing or a test would still be required, it would show us straight away on this overview as well, which makes it easier once again if you have to work with several surveys. Oh, let's go back to our dashboard. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope you found this video series helpful. Please reach out to us in case of any questions, and be sure to ask Dynata for end-to-end help with your research and audience needs.